All right, this is OneLastMidnight. Welcome back to another episode of Valheim. In today's episode, we're going to look at going from the Stone Age into the Bronze Age. And so we've already completed the Stone Age. As a matter of fact, if you watch the video, Sticks and Stones, that takes you all the way from the beginning of the game all the way up to the point where you've killed off the first boss and you have the pick, and now you're ready for the Bronze Age. So there's a couple things we need to do to get started before we start working on getting ourselves some ore, and that is, look, I've only had this little shelter. This is the shelter that I started off with, and it's worked really well for now, but it's not going to work well in the future, so I'm going to need something a little bit bigger. So your first step, if you haven't done it already, should be to make yourself a proper house. Now, I have a lot of videos on how to make housing. I am just going to quickly make a miniature longhouse right here, flatten off some ground and build it up, and then I'll be right back. Finishing a proper house is important. As you start working towards the Iron Age, you'll get more crafting stations. The crafting stations will need to be covered, and so having a little bit of a bigger house is what you really need at this point in the game. Once the house is completely done, you're geared up and you're ready to go, we're off to find some crypts. We need a couple things before we can really start doing anything related to metal. But if you haven't already, I highly recommend making some sort of shield for this next phase of the game, because right now we haven't upgraded any of our weapons. So make sure you get yourself some sort of shield so you have some additional protection. Now you need to run around your world and look for something like this. There's a crypt sitting right over here off in the distance. You can see some skeletons running around that looks like they're fighting something. Probably a boar. No, maybe some gray dwarfs. They're having a battle, which is great. You want to make sure that you have some sort of torches on you, because chances are you're going to be going into this crypt and you're going to need to be able to see. But get in here, beat up these skeletons. They're a little bit tough, you know, you're kind of a little bit squishy. You do have, if you watch that video, you do have troll armor, and so you should be in decent shape to be able to take these guys on. Remember, if you have that shield, you can block a lot of their damage, which is all good stuff. As you saw, I got a skeleton trophy. And then also they drop skeleton bones, which are going to be needed for upgrading your equipment. It's a little dark inside of the crypt, so you're definitely going to need yourself some sort of torch to light the way. But what you're looking for are these, which are called Surtling cores. Once you get Surtling cores, you unlock a bunch of stuff. The main thing being the smelter and the furnace. There's also some great mushrooms inside of the crypts, which are much better than the red mushrooms that you've been eating before. If you come across one of these inside of the crypt, destroy it right away. It is a spawner, and it will just keep spitting out skeletons. The other really important thing you can find in the crypt is the location to Elder, which is the second boss. So make sure if you come across this symbol that you look at it so that it marks Elder on your map so you know where he is. Be sure to mark crypts and burial tombs on your map, because mushrooms do respawn and they are a great source of food. Now, interestingly enough, right next to this crypt happens to be a copper deposit. This is what copper looks like. It's kind of weird looking. It looks like every other big giant stone out there, but it does have these little veins of copper running through it. And when you hover over it with your mouse cursor, it will say copper deposit. Make sure you mark those on your map as well, because we're going to need to be able to get a bunch of copper in order to make bronze. When you're in the crypt, you might have come across a couple different valuables. You might have found rubies, coins, and amber. Those things can be taken to the trader when you eventually find the trader and sold off for coins. Coins can be used to purchase several items from the trader, and some of them are extremely useful. Once you have 10 Surtling cores, you can build the smelter, and you can also build the charcoal kiln. Two items that are absolutely necessary in order to go into the Bronze Age. The charcoal kiln and the smelter are pretty big crafting stations. And they also need to be placed on the ground, whether it's inside of your building or outside of your building. And you can also cover these. Once you put wood into the charcoal kiln, it'll start producing charcoal. Now, charcoal is something that you can get. All you have to do is burn a piece of meat, so it's not too hard to get. And then the way that the smelter works is you add your ore in on one side, you add your coal in on the other side, and the final product is produced in the front. When you went into the crypt, you should have gotten skeleton bones, and skeleton bones will allow you to upgrade your club to a new level to make it a little bit tougher. And you can also upgrade your shield so that it will allow you to take more damage and have larger durability. Make sure to upgrade your weapons whenever you can. Next thing you want to do is go find yourself some copper. Now, luckily we found some copper close by, but copper is typically in the dark forest, and this is just a little patch of dark forest. You can tell by the trees, but you're going to go ahead and beat on this copper deposit until you can get yourself some copper ore. Now, mining is really tough on your equipment. It's also tough on you because it takes a lot of stamina and it is heavy. So you wind up getting very little ore that you can transport. And if you'll notice, you'll see that the ore says that it can't be teleported. Also, you're going to pick up a lot of stone. So it might be smart to set down a covered workbench so that you can at least repair your mining equipment and maybe a chest to store any other goods that you might gather while you're here getting copper ore. Once you're done mining, head over to the kiln, load it up with wood so that you have a bunch of charcoal, because this next process takes a ton of charcoal. Load up your smelter with some charcoal, and then go ahead and add in your copper that you found at the deposit. In just a little bit of time, it should start producing your first smelted copper bars. When you pick up your first copper bar, you're going to get a ton of recipes. And one of the most important recipes that you just got was the forge. The forge will allow you to craft metal tools. It'll also allow you to craft metal armors, very similar to the workbench. It also has a bunch of upgrades just like the workbench does. So as soon as you can, go ahead and build yourself the forge. Once you've got the forge down, it's time to go get tin. Tin deposits can be found on the coast in the Black Forest. They're actually really easy to identify. You just hover over these little rocks here. They're lightly more silver than the rocks that are in the water. And you just want to start gathering some of these guys. Again, they're really heavy, and you can't transport them through teleporters, though we haven't even talked about teleporters yet. Bring your tin back over to your smelter and start processing it. Once your first piece of tin is processed, pick it up and you will unlock new recipes inside of the forge. The most important recipe is bronze. And so once you have enough tin and enough copper, go ahead and make yourself some bronze. And unlocking bronze now unlocks a ton of different recipes. Just like the workbench, crafting specific items inside of the forge will unlock new things. So if you craft yourself some bronze nails, you'll unlock yourself the cart, which will allow you to transport your ore from your mining places back to your base. With 10 pieces of tin, you can make yourself a cauldron, which will unlock some new crafting recipes. Think of these recipes as potions for alchemy. As soon as you've got enough bronze, make sure that you upgrade your tools and your primary weapon. Crafting a bronze axe will allow you now to get fine wood. Find yourself a birch tree and chop it down. Beforehand, these were too hard to chop, but now with the bronze axe, you're able to chop them down. Birch trees give you fine wood. And with fine wood, you unlock a bunch of new recipes. You'll unlock the forge cooler, which is an upgrade to the forge, and you'll also unlock the fermenter, which will allow you to brew potions. If you had made the nails, you also gain the item stands, which will allow you to place items not only on your walls, but also on tables and floors and so on. You'll also get a couple banners in which you can hang. A chair, a bench, a table, and a stool. All of these items will improve your comfort level for your house, giving you a larger resting buff. Remember that the resting buff gives you 50% health regen and 100% stamina regen. Extremely helpful when you're off either crafting or adventuring. You will have also unlocked a portal, which is extremely useful for being able to fast travel in your world. The ward, which allows you to protect your area. If you're playing a multiplayer game from other players, constructing buildings or opening your doors. And you'll also unlock the carve if you had already done the nails, which is the next level of the boat. This part of the game is a little bit of a grind. So what you should be doing from here on out is upgrading your forge to the highest possible level, which means putting down the anvils and putting down the water barrel. If you haven't already, to upgrade your workbench to the highest possible level that you can. Create yourself some armor. I like the troll armor. I didn't leave troll armor until I went to the Iron Age. So, it's your choice of whether you want to go to bronze armor or stick with the troll armor. The troll armor, as you upgrade it, is pretty much equal to the durability of the bronze armor, but it doesn't restrict your movement speed as much as the bronze armor does. Again, completely your choice. Try out some of the new weapons, the sword, the spear. Make yourself whatever you can possibly make, some bronze arrows. And then also upgrade your equipment as high as you possibly can, whether it be on the forge or whether it be on the workbench. You also should have been exploring crypts and caves and trying to find your next level boss, which is the Elder. As soon as you can, craft yourself a portal inside of your house and set the tag to Elder. Now, before you leave to go find the Elder, make sure that you have the items to make the portal coming back. So it's important that you have those 2 circling cores, those fine woods, and the gray dwarf eyes before you go looking for the Elder. Since the Elder location is random for every single map seed, I have no idea where your Elder is going to be located. He could be close by, he could be really far by. Mine happens to be a trip on water, probably to another island, so I'm going to have to make a boat and sail over there. After you arrive pretty close to your location, I am not far from the Elder. Make yourself a forward base and set up that end portal. Make sure to tag it as Elder, and it should be connected to the other side. Now you're able to fast travel back from your Elder base to your starting location, just by walking through the portal. During your various travels inside of the Black Forest, you might have come across these. These are gray dwarf spawners. You've also might have come across various gray dwarves inside of the Black Forest, and they're helpful to unlock the Elder. You'll need a specific item called an ancient seed, and you'll need several of those to be able to summon the Elder. So either find yourself a gray dwarf spawner and destroy it, or as this spawner starts spawning gray dwarves, eventually it will spawn a brute. And once it spawns the brute has a chance to drop a ancient seed. And this is the Elder Altar. Now you're going to need 3 ancient seeds to take him on, and once you make your sacrifice, he's going to come out and just start wailing on you. The best way to fight this Elder is with fire arrows and to use the pillars to your advantage. He's got 2 types of attack. One, he springs out this kind of like, I don't know, it's like these little web thingies at you that can be blocked by these pillars. There they are. And then he also summons vines, which you really want to stay away from because they'll mess you up. You're just going to wind up kiting him as best as you possibly can. Just use your arrows. Stay away from him. Stay away from his direct shots. And if he moves, just move around with him and use the pillars to block him. When you finally do kill him off, you'll wind up dropping off his trophy and then also a swamp key. Go back to your starting area and hang up his trophy. Make sure you activate his power so that you get it, and then you can look at his power. The Elder's power allows you for faster wood cutting. And with the swamp key, you are ready for going on to the next stage, which is the Iron Age, which we'll cover in another video. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below, and make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.